Hi everyone. Today's video is another more advanced stretch video. So it's going to look at back bends, and this is to help with like the layback position, eventually the Beillmann position, and also when we have like choreographic layback positions and positions and lifts, that kind of thing. It's going to be pitched at people who already have a reasonable level of flexibility. Okay, but that said, I will try to include some simpler exercises that you can start with and get comfortable with, and then build to the harder exercises in the video. There's going to be a little bit of strengthening because it's important with the back bend position that we have a strong core, strong muscles around supporting the spine and around the back, so that we can hold the positions and we're stretching but stable. Okay, so first off, you should be warm before you start this. So this is to be done at the end of a session when you're warmed up. I'm going to do a few little exercises just to mobilise. So we're going to start with some little twists, torso twists, keeping hips forward, but just letting the body, the ribs come round, and so you can get that stretch across the back. Okay, and then some dips to the side there. So we're just getting the area feeling a little bit looser before we do anything else. Okay, so these are some gentle warm-ups, although you should already be feeling fresh off the ice or off the gym session. We can start to reach down a little bit lower, and that way, hopefully, if you're feeling warm already, it makes it a lot safer. We'll just do some cat and camel. So we camel and give ourselves a hump, arching the lower back, and then cat, pull up, tuck tummy in. Camel and cat, camel and cat, so we're just mobilising the spine and feeling that. Really reach it down, you can start to explore that movement there. Now we'll go to a little extended, so we're in a tabletop, and we'll do the extended tabletop, pull the ribs in, hips tuck under, engage the core, lift the leg, and we're just feeling the strength. So this is a little bit of strengthening for the back, for the spine, keep it pulled up so we end up with a nice straight back position. Okay, keep pulling, keep strengthening, developing around the back and across the abdominals to support our laybacks and our layback position, our back bends as we do them. Hold this for a little bit longer than I'm doing. I'm just trying not to make the video too long this time. Pull that along, nice and strong, keep the head forward, keep strengthening. To further that, do some plank. So we go into our plank position, shoulders over wrists, body forward, engage the core, squeeze it up. Okay, squeeze the glutes, keep the back strong, keep the tummy strong. And if you want to, try in that extended, so keep nice and evenly weighted, which I'm not doing the best job of. Shoulders level, hips level, and see if you can hold something up. So that's like an extension of the extended tabletop that we did a second ago. Same thing, opposite side. I'm in the way of the chair. Stay up there. Level, strong, and really feeling that core engagement. Other exercises you can do to strengthen from the plank. A good one is just lifting the foot up and over but keeping the core engaged. So this is to strengthen the muscles around the back that we're going to be using as we go to our layback. It's also going to work the glutes. Another really good strengthener before we do any stretching is to go into our bridge pose, yoga bridge. So on the back, shoulders and hips initially on the floor, feet kind of shoulder width apart, lift the hips up, lift the tummy up, we're trying to see our belly, and we can just bring the arms underneath us, and we're in that bridge pose there, and hold that. You can do it with a little drop and rise to feel that working, and if you want to go further and use it to strengthen the legs as well, you can stick it up and flex and point as an extension.
in terms of the layback, is this part, or the back bend position is this part that's important. Squeeze, catching the hands underneath is going to help you feel that arch even more. This is just an additional extension for a bit more of an all-rounded strength. Okay, so put it right up. Concentrate your breathing and watch the belly rise and go down. Okay, so there are a few simple strength exercises. Now we're going to start to do a bit more of a stretch again, so we're just going to cross opposite hand, cross the knee, look over the shoulder, and do a bit of a side twist. Now, laybacks and things, you should be looking that way by the way, but I'm going to talk to you. Laybacks don't necessarily have to just lay back, you can lay side, it's still a correct position, and it may be that you have more movement to one side than the other, so that may be a way of getting something called. Ideally, obviously, develop to have all options, because that's always better. But as a starting point, if you do have a stronger side, that could be an entry into a way into getting more points and developing some difficult variations for your spins, and also just some interesting positions in choreographically. So that's all we twist up. And we're going to reach over. So these are very simple exercises. You put the forearm on the floor, okay, but this might be more if you're going for a lay side. Now, when they're marking like a layback or a lay side in competition, they're looking for a really significant bend. So it's described a little bit like, one way of thinking about it is like an umbrella. So you know those old-fashioned umbrellas with the handle at the top that really bends over? Your body needs to create that shape. So a little bit here is not going to be enough. It's got to be a substantial bend. I'll show you that a little bit later. Reach over. Okay, another good option for a twist. Sit on your bottom. You can either just, again, twist around, knee up and look over, and you can really start to find the twist in the lower spine, or an even better way still, cross the foot over, take the body to face the opposite side to the foot, so facing away, lift the hand over and then tuck it under through the gap, so your hand's now in the opposite direction of the body, and catch, and you're going to get a really strong twist through the back, increase your back flexibility. Okay. Not so much for laying backwards, but it's strengthening, supporting and stretching the whole area to give you as great a range of movement, so that when you are going for your back bends and things like that, you have the flexibility to move in all directions safely and securely, and reducing the chance of injury. And then through opposite, so we turn away from the leg, in through and stretch. Good. Okay. Onto the knees, onto all fours. We're just going to go back into child's pose. Stretch out the shoulders. Okay, and you can feel a little bit of a stretch across the back. So the knees underneath this and there. And then we're going to go to puppy dog. So we come up. Okay, the hips stay up and we reach forward with the arms in front of us. So rather than sitting back, we're going forward, and you can start to see the lower back arch there. And you can put the head on the floor. Oh, that's a nice little warm up. Feels nice. Should feel quite relaxed. The next one is another strengthening exercise. So we're onto the belly, and we're just gonna lift up and down. So it's like a dish. Hips are on the floor. Okay, ribs are on the floor. We're just gonna, or the lower ribs rather, the very bottom of the rib stays on the floor. And we lift up and stretch across the torso. Okay, the hands can be by the head or out in front of you. Okay, and if you want to, really wear the glutes as well. And the front of the quad, you can just lift the feet off the floor. Calves too, but we're going up, we're doing these little chest raises. And we can hold the dish. And it's working the muscles in the back. You can take the arms forward, side even back. Okay, but you can hold that. And then go back and do some chest raises. Working the abdominals at the front as well as you lift. And developing those muscles we're going to use in our back bend. Then, staying here, we're going to do a little bit of a Cobra Pose. So we come up, forearms on the ground. Cobra, quite easy. And we can push up to a much more substantial one and start to really stretch off the back. Push the hips forward, deep bend, shoulder, head back. It's flaring a little bit with the ribs, feeling in the lower back. You should be holding these for longer than I am, but I'm just talking you through it. The next thing is, and I can't actually do this, bring the feet up and start to tilt your head back. Some people can get it to touch, I'm actually miles away. See how far you can go, really pushing those. If you have a strap, or you can kind of use material, but ideally something stretchy like a band, or in my case I've got one of these circular bands, you can often work these positions a bit more. So you can go onto the floor, put it underneath you, and then use the strap to pull it towards you. Increase the arch. Try again. See if the arch should go a bit further. The next thing to think about is I'm just going to take you to a wall. So I'm going to go over there. Okay, I'm going to use the wall to walk down as far as I can. So hands on the wall. Okay, and I'm going to bring my feet forward and just walk my hands down, and you can take this as far as you're comfortable to. So feel that back. You want to keep level to the wall. Ideally, a bigger wall is better. I haven't got much space. Take it one step at a time, and you just go as far as you can. So you can do it in tiny little fragments, arching from the back. Another nice little exercise to use at the wall. This is where we begin to get a bit more intensive. So this is where you only go as far as is comfortable, breathe, and see if you can go the tiniest bit more, but not much. One knee up the wall, one other leg forward, and you can arch back, push the hips forward, and bring the head towards the knee. So to go over that again, one knee up, other knee forward, arms up against the wall, and one knee back. Push your head towards the toe. Similar one. If you have done Pigeon Pose, so one leg forward, I need to move this a little bit. So one leg forward, other behind. So Pigeon typically starts off here, but you can then push up into that background bend. So this is one that we use in preparation for splits, but we can use that back bend there, which is going to help towards Beillmann positions and things later on. And then hold it for longer than I am, arching back. Then bring the foot up. So we're catching the foot in the elbow. Okay, face forward with the hips and arch back. Bring the head again towards the foot. You can lift up. So to recap that on the other side. Through the plank, you can use that as a moment of strengthening. Foot comes in front, out underneath the hips. The first part is to just reach forward, that's just a basic pigeon. And then we can reach up, start to arch back. And then bring the foot up. And then head back. Again, holding these for longer. Next, we should start to look at doing a proper bridge, okay, which is particularly good. Actually, before we do the proper bridge, we're actually going to look at the layback position itself. So again, I'm going to rotate the camera.
chair for this. Okay, all we're going to do is push the hips forward to the chair and let the head go back, taking it one vertebrae at a time. Now, something I should mention is after every major back bend that we do, so particularly ones that we've done there, roll forward, stretch out and go the other way. That's very important. So that you're stretching your hamstrings, but you're also stretching across your back. You can go back to this. So just pushing the hips towards the chair. You want to make sure it's a nice weighted chair, ideally not like mine. You could also wrap it around the wall and do it that way. So push through.
And back. You can now transfer to one foot into a keep here position and go to the arch.
Now, the back bend is coming from down here, and the lower backs, the hips pushing forward, and we do want that really strong shape, like that. This is not going to count because it's coming from up here. Even this doesn't count because it's still coming from the upper back. It has to be to count
From that lower back position, you can catch your foot.
You can hold it free. The knee can go forward or out to the side and keep it. I like this for a layback. It can also be away from the skating leg or touching. Some people prefer this. It's whatever works for you. Make sure you lay both feet.
You can do it with the knees together. Counterbalance. It's fine.
As I said, do practice also lay side. And again, you've got to have that really strong shape. Now you are starting to rotate your body upwards when you do the lay side here. It's a bit of a unique position. For some people that may come slightly easier, for others it may be more difficult. And again, with the coupe as well. Oh! Chair moved. As I said before, stretch out, roll down. I can also do this touching on the mat, touching toes. So, seated, forward fold, and elongating, so you're really lengthening through that spine and keeping it nice and straight. Even if you can't go very far, even if you're only like onto your shins, that's fine. If you're all the way flat, but don't hunch, we want to be stretching out that back. A nice position to practice with the layback as well is for like an Ina Bauer. So turn the feet out into like a very open ballet fourth
And arch back. Again, hips pushing forward, going for that nice deep bend.
It looks really pretty on the ice. It's a nice choreographic move, one for your spiral, your choreo sequence, or a pose in dance.
Pushing forward, back.
Again, reach out. Really good to practice is a full back bend, a full bridge pose, or a wheel, as it's called in yoga. There's different ways to get into this. If you're still quite new to it or still developing the best ways to come from nice and low so you're not going to drop too far or lose control, hips on the shoulders on the floor, hands go by your so you can move it back so you can see that better. Hands go by your shoulders, and we're going to push the pelvis up so the feet are on the floor. Push through.
You can do it to start with. You may have the knees bent, then you can straighten them out.
You can even go to variations where you would lift one leg up during the wheel, which I didn't manage on that occasion. So that's a really good one. Practice holding it, engaging the core. Again, must stretch out the back so we can go into a little, roll into a little ball and go the other way. And you can even rock it, so massage it a little bit, and then forward fold. Last thing, this is where I have to hope that the chair doesn't fall over. Practicing your Beillmann positions. Okay. Typically, I would warm up splits as well before doing this, which I haven't particularly done today. Hold on to something. You can use a strap, or use your foot, or you can put your skates on. The elbow goes to the hip. We bring the elbow forward. Leg goes up. and we can arch back into it. Or it's just like a catch foot spiral. You can get those positions there. Again, it's a position in skating that uses a significant back bend. So there, halfway forward, arching back, looking down towards the head. And one last forward fold to stretch it out, release.
And then roll up from that fold, vertebrae by vertebrae, releasing so you can really get the mobilisation, the individual articulation of the joint.
And that is my back bend, help for laybacks, help for Beillmann, help for choreographic things, poses type video. It is a strengthening video as well as a stretch, so there's a few things in there. Hopefully there's something at your level you can work from. Don't push it too far too quick, and be careful doing this. If you're trying to work on it, a couple of times a week to start with, gently build up. It's quite easy to find that it causes back pain, in which case you need to stop and slow down. You need to listen to your body. Doing it every day to begin with at first, at least, maybe too much. So respect your body, hear what it's saying, and go with it. Alright everyone, bye bye. Hope that's helpful.